Hello everyone. Welcome to the Football Talk Exchange. I'm your host Shubham Thakkar, and today I have with me Aaryan Nagaraj, who's an ardent La Liga fan, and today we'll be discussing our La Liga team of the season. So, Aaryan will go first with this team.
Yeah, so La Liga this year has been especially competitive near at the top. There's 2 points separating Barca and Real Madrid, but there has also been a change of guard at the third and fourth positions, like Sevilla and Real Sociedad instead of the usual Atletico Valencia. So we have had a lot of a sea of change around the top. Also, some teams in the relegation zone that we did not expect, like Espanyol, who are currently in the Europa League. But what can we say? That's the nature, the unpredictable nature of Spanish football. So
Hmm.
I'll start in goal. I think this is
Hmm.
pretty easy. Like, even though I'm a Barca fan, I must admit this year Real Madrid has had the best defensive record in the league. They've conceded only
Yeah,
19 goals and have
and I
kept
think 12 or
12,
13 clean sheets.
12 clean sheets.
Yeah.
So a few Real Madrid players who played all games share the distinction, like Courtois and one of the others who we'll get to later in the video. But Courtois,
Hmm.
he's been really solid at the back. He redeemed himself after his poor performances last season. Even didn't
Hmm.
give like a sniff at the number one spot to Areola, Real Madrid
Yeah.
got in this season. Like we were expecting, like if Courtois goes bad, Areola was more than enough,
Hmm.
more than decent enough. But Courtois showed himself, showed the World Cup 2018 form that he
Yeah.
carried.
True.
Now he brought back to his game. Like the Chelsea Courtois might finally be back.
Hmm.
So, there was no debate on that, but this is the place where it gets interesting because I could not fit three center backs into this formation, even though I have one of them on the bench, but I had to get this guy
Hmm.
in. Maybe it was like my bias for ex
Is
Barca youngster, but like
Yeah.
this guy has genuinely been one of the best defenders, like one of the best up and down fullbacks slash midfielders, like wing midfielders in the league. It's Marc
Wing back,
Cucurella.
yeah.
Yep, Marc Cucurella.
Hmm.
He's been solid for Getafe, which is one of the reasons why they're in the knockout stages of the Europa League.
Hmm.
He has the
They're
stat.
also fifth, I believe, in the
Yes,
La Liga.
they are
Yeah.
fifth in La Liga, just above Atletico Madrid. And him alongside Jene, they held the back line very well together because they had a combined, I think, 4.2 tackles per game, out of which 3 was from Cucurella. So that is a
Oh.
really impressive stat. It's like Aaron Wan-Bissaka level of defending. It's
Yeah.
really, it might not be long before the top clubs of Europe like come circling around for Jene and Cucurella. At the central center back, I have Diego Carlos from Sevilla. So before this season, he was at Nantes in the French league, and this season Sevilla bought him for around 10 million, which is a reasonable price for like a 27-year-old. But nobody expected him to be like this good, even though like the defenders around him, like Kjær, who was there for half the season and is now at AC Milan. Then they had Koundé, they had Nyanyon. All of them were really bad, except him and one of the reserves that we'll come to later. Sevilla didn't have like a good defense. Even their right back was Jesus Navas, who's really not a defender. So like
Yeah.
they didn't have a proper defense in place. They conceded 29 goals in 27 games, sorry. But this guy was one of the main reasons they haven't conceded even more. Like this guy held it down very well at the back. He's still 27. He still might be able to give 3 good years to a club at the tippy top of the top 5 leagues. So maybe we can see a move away from La Liga being a good move for him. Like Sevilla is really not putting a good defense around him. So I don't think he might stay that long with Sevilla. And next up on this list, we have another one of the players from the best defensive team in La Liga this year. We have Raphal Varane. Obviously, he spearheaded the best defense in the league. Even though 8 games were draws and like they were like close draws, like 0-0 or 1-1, it's still commendable to like have conceded only 19 goals in 27 games in like a league there where like they are scoring a lot and they're being scored against a lot. Like Barca in itself have conceded over like 34 goals. So to have nearly half the goals conceded, and one of the main reasons with the declining Sergio Ramos next to him, I'll not say declining, like reaching near like the twilight of his career. He's not
I get
the
it.
best version of Sergio Ramos that ever was. He's
It's not prime Sergio Ramos.
Yep. The Real Madrid team have been very ill-disciplined with their like tough tackling, but Raphal Varane has really been like, he goes for the tackle when he knows he's going to get it. He is really solid at the back, and he's already one of the most decorated players in the world at the age of 25. So kudos to him.
Is he only 25 yet?
Yep.
Whoa. I thought he was 26 or 27.
Nah, he's still 25. He has a long way to go. And he and Valverde, like, you have a lot of good talent at your club.
Yeah.
At right midfield, I don't think this should come as a surprise. I'm not even going to go too deep into this. He has 19 goals and 12 assists in 22 games. Just 22 games. It has to be Lionel Messi. I don't even know what else to say. Like, he single-handedly carried Barca to the number one position. Like, when he was not there, Barca looked completely different on the pitch. Like, they look like lifeless almost, except for like the midfield. The midfield was pretty lively with Frankie and Arthur, but the rest of it was like just pass it to the back, play it from the back, which is not like, which is Barca, but not all the time. Like, you have to have like those surging runs forward.
Build from the back. You don't play like too much there.
Correct. So I'm pretty happy. I think Setien should do something about it different from Valverde. That's my hope. At CDM, we have another player from Real Madrid. It's Toni Cruz. The third most completed passes in La Liga. One of the best long shooter ever in history. It's beautiful to watch him take a shot from outside the box. He's like, he just caresses the ball into the net. He's wonderful at picking out the right pass. I think he's like at the top of key passes in La Liga this season, also in the UCL this season. And he has a very good cross on him. So like, it's not characteristics of like a CDM, but he embodies like,
he can play there.
He embodies like the perfect, like, he's slow, he's not like the fastest, he's not like an up and down player, but he does what his role is meant to be. Like, he passes it, he maintains possession. That's what he's supposed to do, like the person in the middle.
I think those long diagonal balls that Cruz and Modric used to play a couple of years ago, it's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah. And even though Modric has fallen off from his Ballon d'Or days, Cruz is still going on. Cruz is obviously, he's not like Ballon d'Or top 5 quality, but he's like one of the best players in La Liga.
Best midfielders,
And it should not come as a surprise. This guy has been the best defensive midfielder in La Liga this season. It's Carlos Casemiro. He is still leading the league in most yellow cards. He is still ill-disciplined. But on the other hand, he's also one of the best defensive like midfielders in La Liga. He's tough tackling. He's rough. He gets into it very quickly. He can take the occasional long shot, as we have seen before, Juventus. But this season he has not been particularly prolific in front of goal, but that's not what he needs to do. He needs to hold it down.
True.
He needs to hold it down, and he has done just that. Like, one of the reasons why Real Madrid has conceded 19 goals is also can be attributed to Casemiro. At the left winger, this guy
is also
go on.
Casemiro is also very good at set pieces. Like, I mean, he's the man in the box. He's one of them in the box.
You don't need to have, like, you are already having a lot of set piece, good Ramos, people on the set piece, and also targets for the set piece. So you don't really need it, but you already have a surplus of it. So at left winger, we have Mikel Oyarzabal from Real Sociedad. 8 goals, 6 assists, 4th place in the league. He's one of the best players on a team that we didn't expect to be anywhere near the Champions League positions, but he and one of the players we'll come to later has carried Real Sociedad to that position. Like, even though they haven't had the best defense in the league, but they are just fun on the offensive side. Like they have a lot of young talent. Like obviously Mikel Oyarzabal, Odegaard, who will come to later, Alexander Isaac. We have had a lot of like old youngsters that probably failed to live up to their potential at one of their clubs, rejuvenating their careers at Real Sociedad. So talking about rejuvenating their careers at Real Sociedad, the cam in this team is Martin Odegaard. Obviously, the Real Madrid starlet, now at Real Sociedad. He's finally showing why he belongs in a league like La Liga, carrying a team like Real Sociedad to the top of the mountain. And future is also bright for the Norwegian national team with people like Haaland, Odegaard, and Sander Berge.
Yeah.
And go on. You were asking something?
No, I was wondering who else they have. Who like the other young players? I was trying to remember any of them.
They have Jarstein from Hertha Berlin, but he's not particularly young.
I think Dani Olmo is also.
No, Dani Olmo is Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think they have a center back. I cannot remember his name, like Gabrielsen or something like that. He plays for.
All right.
He plays in Liga, but that's not the point of the video.
Never mind.
We already know who are going to be the two strikers up top. One of them is, even though it's a down year for him, he is still statistically one of the best strikers in La Liga. Luis Suarez.
I think third highest in goals and assists combined.
Yep. He has 11 goals, 7 assists. So it's still a very good return in 27 games, even for a waning striker. Like Luis Suarez was considered this season to be out of Barcelona for somebody like a Lautaro Martinez, but he's still been very serviceable. He's like still been. I would still prefer to have him run up top at the striker instead of Griezmann for the current moment. Just based on La Liga, I would have him instead of Griezmann. So 11 goals, 7 assists is a very good output for a striker who is 31 and nearing the end of his career. But on the other hand, this guy has clearly...
Who have also called overrated.
Yep, he was also called overrated. So like this was like a silencing to his haters. And also, did you see the picture the other day of Luis Suarez with the mask on?
No.
Yeah, so La Liga players returned
I saw a meme of Frankie de Jong saying that he needed a bigger mask because of something. I don't remember the exact lines.
I haven't seen that. But the picture, the Luis Suarez picture was memed as Chiellini and Baccal are jumping around right now because he had the mask. Yeah. So this guy needs no introduction. This guy has clearly taken over where Ronaldo left off for Real Madrid. He has been the number one option offensively for Real Madrid. He has had 14 goals, 6 assists. He's led the Real Madrid attack very well. Nobody expected him. Like, he was also considered to be waning. He was considered like his prime days were over. His glory days were over. Like somebody like a Luka Jovic was supposed to take over. But Benzema has held down that position very well. And he's deservedly like still one of the top strikers in La Liga. And I don't think it would be wise for Real Madrid to move on from him just yet, because he still has something to offer, as clearly shown from this.
Maybe 1 or 2 years more.
Yep. For like the grooming period for somebody like a Luka Jovic or anybody you sign in the future, like to place that position. So this is my first team, and in the result, I have 7 players. One of them is, this guy has been the most underrated midfielder in La Liga for a long time, and even this season he leads the league. He's like third, even though he's a midfielder who likes to venture forward a lot. He's third in La Liga for tackles completed. It's Saul.
That's also it's also down to how defensive Atletico are.
Yep. So like somebody like Saul or like a Rodri was expected to like have more tackles than Saul. But even last season, Saul had the upper hand on Rodri at tackles. But Saul also is the better player offensively, as we all know. And he's also, I think, in the top 12 or 13 in assists. So Saul has been...
From what... Okay.
Kya hua?
From what I've seen on One Football, he has 0 assists this season. Pata nahi, maybe One Football ka the stats are wrong.
I don't know. Am I confusing? I don't know. Let it be. Okay. But still, he's still like the reason why Atletico
Yeah,
are low further down in the table than sixth position are because of players like Saul. And the next one I'm talking about is Jose Maria Jimenez, one of the best defenders for Atletico Madrid. Him and Felipe, it was actually a toss-up between him and Felipe, but Jimenez closely edges it because he has had more interceptions and tackles this season than Felipe, even though Felipe has proven to be the better passer. But Jimenez is still the best defender on a team that has the second best defensive record behind Real Madrid. They have conceded only 21 goals. I'm still not sure about the Saul stat. I saw on LaLiga.com that he is in the top 12. But
all right.
Yeah, we move. So the next player on the list is this guy has completed the most passes. He was supposed like with Xavi and Iniesta gone. He is the linchpin of midfield currently at Barcelona. It's Sergio Busquets. He has over 1,800 passes completed, which is ridiculous in like 27 games. For like a player like him who's like over 30 right now,
30,
which is and he was also supposed to like take a backseat this season with the new midfield arrival.
Yeah.
But he is just shown to the world like, no, I still am worthy of playing at Barcelona. He still for like somebody like a PK or PK or Umtiti who has not been very solid at the back this season, Sergio Busquets has like more than made up by winning possession. He has a very good like eye for like where to go. He has very good like foresight.
Understanding,
To intercept.
He reads the game very well. Yeah.
He reads the game very, very well. So next on the list we have.
Also, just to add something about Jimenez, I'm quite surprised one of the bigger teams in Europe haven't picked him up yet.
He's still 27, I think. He still has 3 years to give. So, and like with maybe Atletico was forced to keep him in a position because they just lost Diego Godin and Felipe Luis. So they had to keep one of their best defenders at the club. So even though like maybe it was because Jimenez was also like content to take the number 1 role like at a top club like Atletico Madrid, which is still like competing everywhere, which is still expected to compete everywhere at the beginning of the season. Let's see. The next player, this is Dani Pareja from Valencia. So not the fastest, not like the best at defense, but he is like their set piece taker for one. He is also very good at free kicks. He scored like 2 direct free kicks last season and 2 this season, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And also Valencia reaching the last 16 was one of the main reasons was Dani Pareja. Apart from Rodrigo, obviously. Rodrigo scored a lot of goals, but Dani Pareja was like the linchpin of midfield. He has, I think, the second most ball recoveries for a midfielder in La Liga, which is a great stat for somebody who's not even like very fast. He's like he just controls the game, like stands in the midfield and he just controls the pace of the game. He like alters it whenever he wants. So Valencia being in the top of the league, like table, not even top of, like top 30% of the table is because of Parejo. So
I think he's one of those midfielders who can control the tempo, as you said.
So it's like a Thiago for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Yep, he's like a Goretzka, but not as good as them. Obviously, they have a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
Parejo is almost near the end of his career. He's 33, so we can't say much, but he's still one of the best midfielders this season.
The qualities are similar,
Yep. Next on the list, another Sevilla player from Real Madrid. It's Sergio Reguilon. He had 1.7 tackles completed under Lopetegui after Lopetegui came, and he had 1.1 crosses completed per game. So he shows that he is like the perfect up and down left back. Like he can attack and defend. So that's a very good quality to have, especially in your left back, because Sevilla do not like, they're playing like attackers at fullbacks. Like I obviously mentioned, Jesus Navas has played at left back. Munir has played at left back, believe it or not. Munir, who's supposed to be
Wasn't he a striker at Barcelona?
He was supposed to be a striker, mostly a left wing. He's played at left back. So like Sevilla had a lot of experiments at defense, which is why Diego Carlos couldn't find like a good defensive partner. But after Lopetegui came to Sevilla, which was like mid-season, I think, after his sacking, Reguilon has been very good, like very, very solid. Like if I had to pick a reserve left back to like Cucurella obviously is the starting left back. It's going to be Reguilon. Reguilon has been the second best left back in the league. And even though Sir President hasn't had the best season this year, he still makes it into the TOTS reserves for La Liga. Like, however it may be, PK is still one of the, even though he has had his odd mistake, like he has contributed to some of the goals that Barcelona have conceded statistically, and also like because of the so many rotations happening in Barca's defense, one of the constants has been PK. So
True.
we can't take that away from him. It's like, it's a fact. So we have to give respect where respect is due. So maybe it was like also my inner Barca fanboy seeing so many Real Madrid players in the TOTS like made me take at least one Barca player on the reserves. So yeah, I think who am I missing? Yeah. So the reserve goalkeeper is Jan Oblak. The second best keeper in La Liga this season. Might be the first time we see him not lift the Zamora trophy in 4 years. He's been holding down that trophy for most clean sheets in La Liga for the last 4 years. That's how good Jan Oblak has been in this league. For the first time, maybe we'll see Courtois this season, unless Real Madrid conceded every remaining game, which is not a possibility due to the solid defense that they have. But Oblak has still shown that he has the qualities to be. He's still one of the best. He's maybe top 3 goalkeepers in the world right now. What would you say?
Oblak, yeah, I think personally for me, he would probably be the. See, it's a debate between Alisson, Ederson, and Oblak.
Yep.
And
I wouldn't even put Ederson. Ederson has passed. Maybe I put, just based on this season, maybe Courtois gets an nod in, but not Ederson. Alisson, obviously, you can make a case for him. Liverpool are the best team in England, and he has also had most clean sheets. And Oblak, obviously, he dismantled that team itself, so we can't say much. So this is my team. Maybe the South stat was something that flew over everybody's head. Maybe one football is drunk, who knows? But yeah, this is my starting team and this is my reserve 7. So let's move on to Shubham's team, I guess.
Yeah. So I think I've gone with a 4-3-3 formation. And if you remember correctly, like when we were in grade 9 and 10, I used to always say that De Gea is better than Neuer because Neuer may have more clean sheets, but De Gea is the one that makes more saves.
Okay.
And that is why I've gone for Oblak as my first choice goalkeeper and Courtois as the backup goalkeeper. I think Courtois averages around, on one football, it said he averages 2 saves per game, and Oblak averages 2.3 saves per game.
That's
so based on that,
that's because Real Madrid have had a more solid defense. Like he hasn't had to contend with as many shots, but also he has been very good when he's called upon to make those saves. So
so it's the same case with Manchester United a couple of years ago. Their defense was very
bleak, very bleak,
leaky. So that's why I've gone for Oblak as my main goalkeeper.
To be honest, if we were going purely based on the number of saves, we would have had Levante's keeper on top because he has led like the second place keeper by 46 saves. So like, but they're not nowhere near the top of the league. So we can't give it to them. Somebody who's on a solid team and is playing particularly well is the one who gets into the team of the season. It's obviously based on personal performance, but when you're conceding like 40 goals while you're still making 126 saves, it's still not a very good ratio because you're still like 15th, 16th in the league. So
so then I tried. I think it's a very Real Madrid loaded team because like there's no bias in there. But at right back, I've gone for Dani Carvajal.
Totally could see him being there. I cannot dispute it.
So yeah, I mean, again, he's one of those up and down defenders. He can at times take a shot. His crossing is quite good, and yeah, so that's how I've gone for Carvajal at right back. Then again at centre back, I've got two Real Madrid defenders. You can see, I mean, you can already judge which two. Varane, as you already mentioned earlier, is a very solid player at the back. I think one of those traits that Varane has is speed, and a lot of people might not notice it.
Yeah, actually, there was one of those clips doing the rounds of him coming back. Like
Yeah.
one of the strikers was completely through, and he came back and slide tackled it out of bounds. I don't
True.
remember
Yeah.
who it was. I think it was
I've
against
seen.
Barca only. I don't remember though who it
Mm-hmm.
was clearly.
There's a compilation of like 5-6 such incidents where he's recovered very quickly and made the like tackle, last ditch tackle.
He's like the Hector Bellerin of centre backs. No, Hector Bellerin is the Raphal
Yeah.
Varane of full backs. No, let's compare Bellerin to Varane. Varane is miles ahead.
Yeah. And Ramos, I think, yeah, he's not been injured quite often. I think he's missed a couple of games though due to
Yes,
injury.
yes.
And obviously his disciplinary record is not that great.
None of the
But I
Real
think,
Madrid's team is this year, but they have
yeah.
still had the best defensive record, so we can't dispute it. They're getting
Hmm.
it done. We can't dispute their methods.
So that's why I've gone for Ramos and Varane. And Ramos, we all know that he's very good in the air for set pieces, and he's a leader as well.
His
And
penalty taking stats hasn't been particularly amazing this season, even though he's like the top penalty taker, I think.
Yeah,
He has missed two, I think. Two?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he has missed two penalties, I think, from something I read somewhere. But yeah, he's still a potent set piece. Like even a target for set pieces, even if he's taking the set piece himself. So
Yeah, I think it was one of those Italy versus Spain games where Isco destroyed Verratti.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Sergio
one.
Ramos scored the
So I
penalty.
think, and I think he also took a very good free kick. He might not have scored from the free kick, but it was a very good free kick.
Was it
in
late
that
in the game? I don't know. Like because he scored the penalty very early in the game.
I don't exactly remember.
Let it be. Anyways, that's not the point of
Because like the game was on midnight, like 2nd September, very late. So
okay, let's move on. Let's move on to
yeah.
left back.
So left back again. I was confused
But on the
between.
other hand, you should be awake late on 2nd September.
So I was awake, but I was not watching the match.
Aage. Left back.
So I was confused between Cucurella and Mendy, but I think I'll go for Furlan Mendy here.
Very Real.
I think
fully
he's
Real Madrid heavy backline. Fully Real Madrid backline.
Yeah. So it's because like Rohan mentioned in the earlier video, he can tackle with both feet, and we've also mentioned in the transfers video that I think you were the man who said it, that you were the one who said it, that he's the left back, he's the Van Bissaka of left backs.
True.
So
He
that's
has
why I've gone for him.
He has still untapped offensive potential, like a lot of untapped offensive potential because he's fast. Like he should be, in theory, he should be a very good like up and down fullback, but he still needs to work on his offensive game a lot. Like defensively, nobody's challenging. Mendy is very good in his position, but
I think his tackle percentage is 82, 83 something.
Which is very solid. Which is
Successful.
very solid.
Yeah.
So he can be somebody like a prime Jordi Alba if he defends, like makes himself go forward, like voluntarily. He has to implement that characteristic into his game. Like he has to voluntarily go
forward. And then in midfield, my center defensive midfielder is Casemiro.
I wouldn't dispute it.
The number of tackles he's made is just, I think it's 83, and Biscuits has 61, and De Jong has 26. So like, yeah, if you combine both of them, they've got 4 more than Casemiro. Like Casemiro has just 4 less than them two combined. That's the point. So then in the midfield, obviously,
Maybe this is one of the reasons he's leading the league in yellow cards.
yeah.
But I wouldn't mind leading the league in yellow cards if I also have the most tackles as my opponents combined. So he's still one of the best defensive midfielders.
Yeah. And then in midfield, I've gone for a very surprising player. It's Santi Cazorla.
Ooh.
Have I pronounced it correctly?
Yep, correct.
Yeah. So he's 35, 36 in December. And I think for a midfielder, he has the highest number of goal involvements.
But I like to point out here, 6 of them were penalties. So that is one of the reasons
I haven't
so many goal involvements.
I
But yeah,
haven't researched too much.
I can see Santi Cazorla being in the midfield, like purely out of respect and also because of the performances. Villarreal is currently 7th, I think, which is nowhere. Like they were, I think, 17th last season. They barely avoided relegation, and then they signed Santi Cazorla, and suddenly they're in the top half of the table. So really good from them. There was another Villarreal player on my agenda actually, but he couldn't get into the team of the season. It was Gerard Moreno.
Yeah.
He is also one of the
about him.
top scorers and top assisters in La Liga, but just couldn't make the cut in place of like Suarez and Benzema. But yeah, Cazorla, I can agree with your selection.
And I think he had 14 goals and assist involvements.
Yes.
So even if you take out the penalties, 8 goals and assists, it's still quite good.
Quite decent. For a player his age, especially.
And then Toni Cruz at the other center midfield position.
I had them both in my team, so I can't say anything.
Yeah. And by the way, from no, let's just ignore it. It's okay. He has 3 goals and 5 assists, I believe.
Yep.
For a midfielder who's not as attacking as I think he's a CM, sort of a CDM.
Yep.
So I think it's quite good from his heat map on the pitch if you look at it.
It's not his primary job to get forward, so he's not expected to like be the delivering blow for Real Madrid. He's supposed to hold it in the midfield and give it to your striker. So he's doing that very well.
And then right wing, I think there's no doubt about this.
It is Lionel Messi. Yep.
And striker, I've gone for Karim Benzema. I think based on goals and assists combined, I think he has 2 more than Luis Suarez.
Yes, he has.
So that's why I've gone for him. And left wing, I've got Oyarzabal as well.
Yep.
From Real Sociedad.
Spain actually have a very good up-and-coming team if you look at it.
True.
Dani Olmo, Oyarzabal, Ansu Fati, Rodrigo,
Firpo.
Not just yet, but yeah, sure. Mario Hermoso. A lot of up and coming.
And then
my
reserve team has it's Thibaut Courtois as the backup goalkeeper.
No surprise there.
Then I was confused between Jimenez and Piqué. So I'll go for, I think, Jimenez.
Yep, I can understand
that. Personally, because I'm not a big fan of Gerard Piqué.
I get that. Nobody, like, if he doesn't fit your play style. Jimenez is very adaptable. Like, Piqué is not...
He can play at right back also.
Yep. Piqué is only a center half. He cannot... He neither has the pace nor has like the agility to compete with wingers. So I wouldn't go that far as to say he can play a full back position. So yeah, Jimenez, I can understand that. He's on the second best defensive team. So
and then I think I completely forgot about Jordi Alba. I would have put him as my main left back. I'm really sorry.
Wow. I didn't even have him in my team.
Oh, okay. I think he's still a very good left back. One of the more attacking left backs we have in La Liga. I think La Liga usually your left backs and right backs don't attack as much as compared to the Premier League or maybe the Serie A where you have wing backs. So I think I'll go for Jordi Alba
In the
as
Prem,
my
actually.
main left back. And
In the
sorry, yeah.
Prem, actually, it's like a more physical league, more demanding league. Everybody has to do everything. So obviously we can see fullbacks going up and down the pitch. In Serie A, goals are the demand. Like I had mentioned in one of your previous videos that Chiellini had once said, Serie A only demands goals, goals, goals. That is why
Goals. Yeah.
it's tough for a defender to execute their job in Serie A. So yeah, the attacking fullbacks, they've even experimented with Cuadrado at right back, if I'm not mistaken. Juventus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Juventus.
So it's not a shocker there. But in La Liga, Barcelona have traditionally had the most attacking fullbacks, except for the obvious exception, that is Marcelo. Marcelo has been one of the best attacking fullbacks in La Liga history, I would say. Exceptional fullback.
And Roberto Carlos, like from the.
I mean, yeah, Roberto Carlos is set piece master. He's one of the greatest to ever stand over a free kick. Yep.
Free kick, yeah.
Yes. 100%.
So then that's two defenders, and the two midfielders have gone for. I think it was just a second. I'll check.
No problem.
I think Odegaard was certainly one of them.
Yep.
And I've gone for Valverde from Real Madrid.
Ooh, young star.
I think he's really shown this season. Why Real Madrid have not sold him or loaned him out yet, like your Ceballos or who else have they loaned out? I mean,
off the top of my head, I can't think. Is Mayoral still on loan?
James Rodriguez.
James Rodriguez, yes.
Who? Sorry?
Mayoral?
Mayoral is still on loan, yeah. I think.
Damn. He's probably never going to get a first team chance. Poor bloke.
I think even at left back and right back, they've loaned out Hakimi, who's doing very well.
Hakimi's there. Sergio Reguilon.
I think Reguilon, Theo Hernandez
is still on loan.
I don't know if they've sold him or he's still on loan.
He's even at Sociedad, right?
Is he at Sociedad? I have no idea.
Yeah, Lucas is at. Lucas is at Bayern. So
Bayern.
Theo is at AC Milan then. Yeah, I think Real Madrid sold him to AC Milan. Yeah.
I think especially Valverde has been sort of above in the pecking order, above Isco and James, which really shows how much Zidane trusts him as a midfielder. So I think that's why I've gone for him. And then in attack, obviously Luis Suarez as the backup striker, and I have Vinicius Jr. as my backup winger.
The man who can't finish. A lot of potential. Like he has very good dribbling. He's very technical. Has good skills. He's very agile. He can get past defenders very easily. But the end product is still leaving a lot to be desired. Just as of yet.
I think I have personally experienced this as well. When you dribble past one or two players, you're already thinking of a goal that's going to be viral on YouTube, or like you're going to get a lot of recognition for that.
Headlines.
So it just plays in your minds, yeah.
And
so that's why maybe he's not able to finish.
Maybe Real Madrid has the best young core in La Liga, like currently, I would say. Yeah. Vinicius, Rodrigo, Asensio, Valverde, Varane, Rainier. Rainier is signed, right? Already?
I think, yeah.
Yes, he is already signed.
Takefusa.
Yep. The Japanese
and Messi. Who else? Militao, yes.
Hakimi.
Lunin.
Yeah. Lunin. I read a post on Real Madrid's official fan page the other day which said that Alphonse Areola should be picked over Lunin, which is I don't get that. Like you should just let him go back to PSG and let Lunin be your backup. Give him some games, the cup competitions. Like get him to be Courtois' proper successor, because you actually have a good goalkeeper in your hand.
Successor, yeah.
So yeah, that should do it. Like, these are two very good teams. I can't dispute very much to your suggestions. Like, the only thing I could say, even though I'm a Barca fan, that Jordi Alba hasn't been peak performance this season, but he has still been a good left back. Not team of the season worthy left back. Like, you had Cucurella, Reguilon, and Mendy, who were all ahead of him. But as a Barca fan, I'm going to take it from a Real Madrid fan. So I'm not disputing it. So yeah, that should do it. I think 11 players, seven reserves. We've both built
Yeah.
pretty non-controversial teams, I would expect. Maybe one or two, but
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe it's down to the comment section.
So I think that's but I don't expect a lot of people to watch till the end.
This is one
I
of
mean,
the
that's
shorter
what
videos
my
that you've done.
YouTube analytics suggest.
Yeah, not just yet. Maybe one day. We can only aim for it.
So I think, yeah, we'll end it here.
Yep, go on.
So that's it from today's video. Thank you for watching. Like this video, share it with your friends. Comment down below your La Liga team of the season, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you.